So this morning we're out here in Stewart. We're fishing the Minnow hatch on the beach. It's a beautiful day here, late August. We've got some fish pushing right down here in this V-wake. Let's see if we can get hooked up. I'm throwing the Hogy Pro Tail Eel in the small 4 3/4 inch size. Oh, I'm blowing up on it. Falling right to the boat. See if we can get hooked up. I'm gonna drop a little bit. We're with Captain Britton today. He's a local guide here, and the last few days he said towards mid-morning they begin to feed pretty aggressively, push in towards the beach and actually start pushing those glass minnows up to the surface, and that's when they've been responding best to the artificials. Now right now, this time of year, you know, traditionally a lot of guides and anglers are going to be using live baits. There's not much in the way of live bait around right now. There's a few mullet, but as far as threadfin or sardines or anything like that, they're few and far between, and these fish are feeding on micro minnows. So it's a great opportunity to go ahead and use artificials. The Pro Tail series have been super popular with our customers and anglers. The past few months, they've been putting some really good catches in on these beach tarpon. So we're gonna keep after them here. Looks like we've got another little push of jacks coming in right here. Let's see if we can get a rod bent. I see some minnows over here, Chris. Maybe we got some tarpon working in them. There we go. Nice. Yep. Good job, Chris. I'm just going out. So Chris has had some perfect execution right there. Using the unweighted original, tossing up in that minnow school, gave it some twitches. We saw several fish now balled up feeding. There's some studs swimming right over there. But yeah, that white, unweighted, it's got that slow sink rate. We've been doing some of the weighted Pro Tails. Obviously the unweighted had a nice, you know, slow fall to it. Awesome fish, dude. Like we said, when these fish are like feeding on these micro baits, there's not really abundant live bait available. The artificials really come into play and can put some fish in the air for you. Come on in. Awesome, man. Powerful fish, but beautiful. Just an awesome start to our morning here in Stewart. Chris just landed this beautiful fish. Congrats, man.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
That's beautiful. On the original series up top, unweighted, worked through those minnow schools. We saw several fish this morning. They just started really getting active, and it's our first of the day, 1 for 1, so that's awesome. You know, this bite here in Stewart on the minnows is a great opportunity to be throwing these artificials. The water is beautiful, the fish are happy, and it's got an excellent fish right here. So we're gonna go ahead and get this guy released. We got the trolling motor in gear right now, and that's just allowing that water to kind of circulate over his gills. When he's ready, he's gonna kick, and we'll be saying goodbye to him then. So I don't really know what to say about this afternoon, Chris. You're housing them. Yeah, I think it's calling your name, buddy. You definitely earned it. So Chris is 3 for 3 now. I don't think I've had like one bite maybe, but Chris is putting on a clinic. Sometimes when I come over, I really put the wood to him, and today Chris is getting in all of his licks, so it's awesome. Great way to break in the boat, and beautiful fish. Just caught the drone right out of the sky. We were running the battery trying to get the landing. on video, and just ninja grabbed it while it was running in the air, so that added some excitement to this fish. So we had such a great afternoon hooking up fish. We're hitting the dock a little bit before dark. We had great success out there. The afternoon bite really turned on for us. And I'd like to go over some of the baits that were working really well for us. We're using a variety of presentations out there. One of the most popular and effective baits to use out there are the Pro Tail paddles. This is one of my favorites for the minnow hatch, and that's that 5.5 inch in the 2 or the 3 ounce. It's a little smaller profile to it. It still has an extremely sturdy hook, and it's got a beautiful paddle action to it out there. Very easy to use at stop and go retrieve, and you know, fishing 50 to 60 pound fluorocarbon, perfect way to use that bait right there. Now, we had a lot of fish that were floating near the surface, and they may not necessarily like that heavy bait going down on them. So going to a lightly weighted or unweighted presentation keeps that bait in the surface water column and kind of in the strike zone, and we found that it wasn't spooking the fish as much as like a heavier weight hitting the water. So, you know, one of the most traditional is the original series, and today the 7-inch original was the All-Star. We got fish on the bone and the black. This one's actually rigged on the 10-0 hook. Normally we rig it with like a 5 or 6-0 for our light tackle presentations, but you can see it actually fits pretty nicely, and it gives you an extremely stout hook for those tarpon. I don't think we had any fish under 100 pounds today, so excellent connection for those big fish. Still got a nice twitching action to it. It gave it a little extra weight, so that's helping it sink down and keep it, you know, just a couple inches below the surface in that wind chop. Now, another bait that worked really well is our 7-inch HDUV. That's the smaller jigging eel, and we're rigging that on the Barbarian jig heads. We're using the light one, so the 3/8 ounce to the 1/2 ounce. You can use that 6-0, which is what we have here, and even the 10-0 1/2 ounce. That's just adding a little bit of weight. You've got that exposed hook, which is really nice for excellent hook sets. I think in one of the clips we actually saw that bait down in the throat of one of the last tarpon we caught today. Those baits, casting to where you're seeing fish rolling, let it sink for a few seconds, you know, 3-4 seconds, and begin that double twitch, pause, retrieve, working it through the bait, and that was producing some strikes for us really well. Another great imitator, it's one of my favorites, is that 4.75 inch Pro Tail Eel. It's got a casting weight of about 1.5 ounces, and that gives you plenty of range on heavy tackle, so you can reach those fish without spooking them. It's great for imitating that smaller forage that's out there, and it also features that heavy duty Barbarian hook, so it's got a lot of strength for targeting those 100 pound plus tarpon. Color wise, we kept it pretty simple today, and that would have been bone, black, and bubblegum, and all 3 baits saw a lot of action. So this is kind of your go-to setup for fishing the minnow hatch. A lot of these same presentations carry over to the mullet run, and they actually imitate the profile of the mullet a little bit better. But the same baits, you're fishing that same shallow depth, you know, under 10 feet. A lot of it's in like 6 feet of water, so you don't need anything super heavy. And a lot of times that top water or just subsurface presentation is going to be the most effective for you out here in Stewart to Fort Pierce for the fall run. So Chris, another excellent day here fishing your home waters of Stewart to Fort Pierce. This is such a versatile fishery. I can't imagine we've been out any time of year and not had, you know, at least a few tarpon on the line.
Yeah, this is a pretty incredible fishery, and it seems like it's all year round. Doesn't matter what kind of size the fish is, they're always here.
You know, and it's awesome coming out here to fish with you. You know, this fishery we're doing today, you can't really conventionally fish with live bait. A lot of the local guides are saying there's not much live bait to be found anyway, so artificial really becomes the name of the game trying to be successful out there. And whether you're trying to, you know, go out and enjoy the bite for yourself or put clients on fish, you know, the Hogy system is able to kind of cover everything top to bottom, and obviously be pretty productive for you.
Yes, sir. We saw it today. We fished different baits, and each one to seem like it just got ate, no matter what. Just throwing it in, the bait, reeling it out, and they're eating it.
So it's excellent. You know, and anybody that is in the area or wants to get a trip down to Florida, you know, look up Chris. He does a lot of different types of fishing. He specializes in tarpon, bridge snook fishing, and he can pretty much put you on these fish year round. So give him a call. His schedule, you know, he's got some openings right now, so you can go ahead, give him a call, or visit, I believe, grayghostcharters.com, or you can look him up on Facebook or Instagram and reach out to him. It's an awesome fishery. You know, you can do live bait, you can come out here and fish artificials, but odds are you're gonna have a great time and hook into some big fish.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you again.
Yes, sir.